lived in Seattle in the 90s. I worked for an organization in my 20s called Chicken Soup Brigade. You might have remembered it. I did some work with Food Lifeline and Operation First Harvest when I lived here. I saw how extraordinary Seattle and King County is to those people who are in need. And in my 20s, those of you who led here helped shape how I do my social change work throughout the globe. And I thank you for that. I was giving a speech in New York the other day, and I was in a room of billionaires. They were just everywhere. There they were. There's a lot of those on the East Coast, it turns out. And somebody was reading my bio and about to introduce me, and hear from the awards that I've gotten and all of this. And I'm not ever nervous when I have to give a speech. I'm just not, because I figure we're all just going to hang out, and I'm going to tell you some stories, and it's going to be good. But I froze a little bit. And I thought, oh, shoot, no, you can't freeze. No. Because I froze and thought, for a second, I don't think it's supposed to be me up there. I don't think these folks understand where I came from and what my life is, and that I look a certain way now, but this is not what it was always like. And I thank Karen for the courage to tell her story. It took me years and years and years to tell the truth about my life. And I grew up in the 70s in the oldest mill town in the United States in New England. And I grew up at a time where there were some really interesting shifts happening, that we were leaving democracy a little bit and moving into consumerism. Right? So it was all of a sudden what you bought that showed you were a great American and not what you contributed. And my father died when I was younger. My mother raised my sisters and I. My mother is not from the United States, so was not fluent in English. And I remember going into food banks and the shame that was associated with that. I remember being evicted pretty consistently because we didn't have rent. I remember going to school, and when you were poor in the 70s, for lunch, everybody else was paying for it, and you were given a ticket. And can I tell you just these flashes of moments for me where I was given a ticket to get a glass of champagne, and I flashed to being 7 years old and having all the other kids stare at me going, why does she have a ticket? And when Nancy talks about hidden need, I need you to understand what I spent all of my time doing was trying to hide how poor I was. And as I got older, my mother made it possible for my sisters and I. Were the first in our family to go to college, and everything my mother did to make that happen. But even when I went to college and I thought, I'm sorry, if people talked about the boarding schools they went to, I remember I met someone once who said, oh, where does your family summer? I froze and went, summer's a verb? Oh, shoot. My family summer. In the backyard, in a pool that's really small. But I always felt like an imposter, and I felt terrified. And I used to practice in the mirror not having the Massachusetts Milltown accent. People don't think I'm from Massachusetts because I talked my way out of the accent. My mother's from Finland. I look Scandinavian. I have the cheekbones. I'm blonde. I'm white. So I've been able to pull off middle class exceptionally well. Except I would sit there in terror that I was not telling the truth to people. People would talk about things, and then I would go look them up because I knew I didn't know it, because I went to not a good high school. In fact, my senior year of high school, the superintendent came to me and said, I know you applied to college. Your applications are going to be sent back. We're not being accredited as a high school. I don't know how he pulled it off, but he did, and we got our accreditation, which we shouldn't have. I'm kidding. I was believe what happened there. It was crazy. But I've been thinking about something that I've been watching happening. So now I've done right philanthropy for what seems like 100 years, and it's the craziest thing in the world. And I go to all these places, I'm like, hey, what's up? I'm sharing a stage with Jennifer Bucket. Oh, going to Mexico, me and Abby Disney doing it. crazy, crazy things happen in philanthropy and social change where we're talking an awful lot about business terms like, well, what's the return on investment on my gift? I said to someone, I'm sorry, what did you say? I actually said to someone, just a quick check-in for a recap. Did you just ask me for the return on investment on a human life? Because I'm just wondering. Well, what's the bottom line? What's the outcome measurement tool? How do you know? And everything is all of a sudden becoming about that. Everything. Not the portion that should be, but the entirety of it. And then I was doing a book signing and I asked a woman, can you tell me what your passion is? And she said, well, people with HIV and AIDS. You know, the ones who get it through a transfusion. And I said, I'm sorry, I don't know what that means. And she said, well, not the ones who caused it. And I said, well, my goodness. And I said, so if someone didn't practice safe sex, they should have a life-threatening illness. And I said, well, I should have many of them, I think, in this one. My goodness. She didn't really know what to say to that. Took her little book and ran away. So I ended up back in a small town. And the town I live in, Massachusetts, is like West Seattle and Capitol Hill pushed together, because both are such a great community, but under 7 feet of snow. So I just wanted to make that fun visual of the town I'm currently living in. And a couple weekends ago, I had gotten home, I just spent 3 weeks in Africa, in Kenya, Uganda, and Senegal, working with women and children, just like the women and children in your community, in mine, in Eastern Europe where I've worked, who deserve everything and who've been denied too much, who aren't victims, they've just been denied the resources they need to have their lives, as my sister's mother and I were once. So I'm walking through town, and I'm thinking about these extraordinary women and children I met in Africa and how much they're like my mom and Karen. And it's the same, we're the same. Someone said, what's the difference between Africa and the United States? And I said, I'm struck that nobody has asked me yet once what's similar. Because there's more similar than not. And this person pulled up in their car, and you know, I love Connecticut, but they had Connecticut plates. What am I supposed to say? And this woman gets out of her car, and she's really unbelievably well dressed. And I'm standing there talking to a friend, and there's a lot of homeless people in the town that I live in. And there's a homeless man sitting there, and she gets out, and he says nothing to her. He didn't ask her for money, he didn't say a word. And she looked and went, oh. Oh my goodness. So, I walked over to her and did a quick check-in. And I said, ma'am, could I just introduce myself quickly? I'm Kathy, I live here. And she said, oh my God, Kathy, right? It's like, hey, well-dressed, white, blonde woman, yay, I'll talk to you. And so I said, hi, and she told me her first name, and I said, that man right there, I said, you don't have any way of knowing this, but he's my neighbor. And she said, oh my God, he lives next door to you. And I said, no, he doesn't have a home, he's homeless. But he's my neighbor, and I'm going to need you to be nice to my neighbors. I wasn't her favorite person. I know that seems odd, but what I've started to see is this shift away from compassion. And I've been trying to figure out, how come? How come? Why is it that people have said to me, well, I would never end up in that situation. No, not me. And I think, well, then you're special. And I kept thinking, what is that about? And I think there's a couple things, and I won't talk about free market capitalism, but there's a little bit of something in there, but I think there's something bigger. If you can push it away and say they did it to themselves, you don't have to see it, and if you don't see transfusion, that's fine, but not any other way. And I said, can I just ask you a handful of questions more about that? And as I peeled it back and peeled it back, I got that her father said to her once, if you ever make a mistake, you have no one to blame but yourself. She got no room to be a person. She didn't get to make mistakes and learn from them. So when she saw me giving the compassion to people who had made mistakes, I think she thought, why don't I get it? Why don't I get it? And what I got was, I don't think our job is to take those people who pass blanket judgment on somebody else's life. Blanket judgment. I would never be in that. I would never do that. How come you let that happen? That was a bad choice. Because y'all want to put a microscope on my life for a minute? My goodness, I could be a Lifetime movie with the poor choices that I've made. We all have. And I don't know about you, but I have been profoundly shifted when someone has said, it doesn't matter, Kathy. I'm just here to help. And all of those people who growing up, who handed me food at a food bank with dignity, the people, the cafeteria woman, who once took the ticket from me, you know, I just remembered this the other day. I haven't remembered this in over 30 years. And she handed me $2 and said, get back in line. And I held the $2 walking in line, and then I paid it. She went, oh, hi, Kathy. If other people hadn't seen that I was more than just a poor white kid in New England, the people who saw me as a person, the people who saw me in my humanity, the people who saw that I had great potential, and I just needed a little help. And I think what you all are doing here and why I flew 6,000 miles to spend this time with you is because I think you all are the example that the rest of the world needs to see. Because I'm reading everything, and I met a bunch of you the other night, and I spent time with Nancy, and I think you all are showing government and big business what it looks like to help your neighbor without judgment. And what's extraordinary about it, when you are profoundly, radically compassionate without judgment, it's not just what it does for the person that you're saying, I'm here to help. It's what it reveals about you. You just showed the world what your character is. You just said, and this brilliant man I worked with in Rochester, New York, who's like this big realtor. And he's a really quiet guy, and he got up there and he was helping homeless people, and he said, the day I knew is I was walking by someone sleeping on cardboard in very cold Rochester winter. And he said, and it clicked for me, and for people who are faith-based, it clicked for him when he said, but for the grace of God, there go I. What it means, what it says about your character when someone says to you, I know that I got into trouble, and then you say, it doesn't matter. None of that matters. My gift is to serve you. That is my gift. Because when you're that person, because the woman who got out of her car in Connecticut, I don't think that's who she really is. But she hasn't seen enough examples of what it looks like to be radically compassionate. So you know what we all have to do? We have to take up more space. We have to be so radically compassionate that people go, oh, that's the thing to do. Okay, here, come over. That they don't even know that over here is an option anymore. But you know that feeling when you're with people and you just see them passing judgment? And what I say to people when it's happening is, are you okay right now? Because it's not about the person who's struggling to find their way. And you should, in this life, get to fall on hard times. You should be able to get lost. We are all, what does Murphy say? We are all just trying to bring each other home. And our job, our chance, and what you guys are doing here, and now with this merger, total brilliance, because you're taking up more space in King County that shows unbelievable compassion and love without judgment. For those people who never judged me when I was growing up, I didn't have anything to get over because of them. The people who judged me, years of therapy, years, endless. And I'm back in therapy, here I go. Because I didn't feel like I was contributing enough. And I remember a woman came up to me once when I was in 4th grade, and I will close with this story. And it was the first time I was asked to sing in a school play, and somebody donated the dress for me to wear. And it was really, really, really long, and I was so afraid I was going to trip on it. But I was like, I'm Lady Esther. Hello, look at me in this dress. I felt so good and important. And I went up there and did my little solo, and I was so afraid because I thought, no one's going to come to hear me. No one's going to come to hear me. And she came up to me, and she said, you have the prettiest voice, little girl, I've ever heard. And I swear to you, she said to me, someday you're going to do this throughout the world. The first time I got on stage, I remembered her. That which you offer to people, your heart, your spirit, your unconditional love and compassion can transform the way someone sees themselves. And it transforms the way you see you. So today is the day for you. This is it. I'm so in love with all of you. Seriously, 630 of you took a Sunday to come to the airport? Are you joking? The best thing in life. I'm so happy. So I'll close by saying, you're going to get to bid, you're going to auction time. You write big checks today, just write them. One is because I promise you, you won't be on your deathbed and say to someone, do you know what I shouldn't have done? I should not have written that big of a check to WestSide Baby. Back and undo that. That is not going to happen. And the second reason to write the big check is because what you put on that line is a reflection of your compassion and love for the people who've been left behind. It's an extraordinary gift. I thank you all for letting me fly here and be with you. I don't want to go home to Massachusetts tomorrow, so I'll just hang out here in Seattle a bit longer. I want to thank Nancy Woodland for how she leads. I know a lot of leaders of a lot of groups, and I want to thank Nancy for how she leads. But my dear friend Libby Cunningham, who first introduced me to WestSide Baby, and to each of you for showing me what it looks like to love compassionately. Thank you so, so much.